Welcome to the Chat with Chou podcast, hosted by Chou Allegra, well-being and belonging consultant, best-selling author, and sought-after speaker. Join Chou as she connects with both new and familiar faces, showcasing their inspiring work in businesses. Together, we will explore insightful conversations, practical tips, and valuable resources aimed at fostering individual and collective growth both personally and professionally. Let's embark on this journey towards greater well-being and belonging together. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Chat with Chou podcast. So I'm interviewing some friends this month of August, who are business owners, but they happen to be Black business owners because August is actually Black Business Month. So today I have Latrea with us, Coach Latrea with us. Hello. Welcome, beautiful friend. How are you?
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. So I've had the privilege of kind of connecting with you on Facebook for a few years now, and but my world might not know you. So do you mind just telling us a little bit about yourself?
My name is, well, hold on, let me adjust my chin. I feel shorter than what I really am. Okay, there we go. Um, my name is Latrea Russ. I reside in Wilmington, North Carolina. Let me see what else. I am a disabilities empowerment coach. For those of you that don't know what that is, that means I work within the disability community. I work with parents and children, children mostly that have various disabilities, and I also work with their parents as well. We work on self-esteem. We work on self-esteem, self-concept, purpose, understanding themselves outside their disability.
Mm.
We also work on with bullying and things of that nature. On top of that, I'm also an award winner, speaker, uh, eight-time published, an eight-time award-winning published author. Let's see what else. I am a pre-K teacher. I teach pre-K. And I'm a wife. I've been married now for about 4 years. I'm on my second marriage, so I've been married for now for about 4 years.
Yeah, beautiful. I was clapping because if people can see me, I guess I clap my hands here because you just won a book award just recently. It
Yes.
was last week. I was
About 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
congrats. I was like, don't
Yes.
forget to mention you're also an author, award-winning author at that,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes, congrats. So
Yes.
beautiful. So you do a lot, and it's all of it are kind of connected, right? The books you write, the children you teach, and the children that you coach, and the parents that you support. And so what's the backstory? How did you even get to doing this?
Um, okay, so the backstory has a lot of twists and turns, if you will. Um, I
That is
forgot to
beautiful landing.
mention. I don't know why I didn't mention this, but I am disabled. I'm visually impaired, hearing impaired. I've had 30 plus surgeries over the course of my
Mhm.
life, from the age of 2 months all the way up to 2009. So, as you can will say, I've had what you would consider a tumultuous childhood. My parents were addicted to drugs. My mom was addicted to crack. My dad was an alcoholic.
Mm.
So all of those things going on, I had a lot going on during my childhood. I never stayed in one place for too long, just due to my parents' habit. We never really had enough money to stay in one place for too long. So I was up moving around, and I moved from this area to that area. At the end, I think I was about 12 years old. I
Mm.
found myself in the foster care system. Now, by that time, I had a little sister. So my little sister and I both ended up in the foster care system where we would stay until about, we actually got adopted. I was 16 and she was 9, I want to say. But so we got adopted into what seemed to be a good home on the outside, but on the inside, it had a lot of different things going on in that home as well. So fast forward a little bit. I got married for the first time in 2025. No, oh Lord, this is 2025. I got married for the first time in 2005. And I was teaching. I was doing what I'm doing now as a pre-K teacher. And I always knew that I wanted more, or I wanted to do more. I wanted to be more. And I knew I wanted to help people. That was always the source that's always been the source of who I am, is to help people. So I said, okay. I said, well, how can I help people? How can I use what I have to help people? Now, around 2013, 2014, we saw the birth, if you will, of life coaching. And there was a life coach on every corner. Like there was a life coach for weight loss. There was a life coach for eating disorders. There was a life coach for everything, you know. Um, so I started doing some research in that area, thinking, okay, I already have a bachelor's in psychology, so life coaching would kind of fall, along that area. But see, I didn't want to be just any life coach. I didn't want to be a life coach because I said I'm a life coach. I wanted to actually walk the walk and go through the process of becoming an accredited life coach. Now, please don't get me wrong. I have nothing against those that don't go through the process of becoming an accredited
Credentialed.
coach. But in my mind, the way I looked at it, it was like almost going to a doctor. Like if you're going to a doctor, you want to go to a doctor that has a license or has some type of accreditation behind it versus a doctor that just calls himself a doctor. So I went and I got the accreditation to become a certified life coach. I said, okay, now what do I do? I'm certified, now what? So in my mind, I'm still like, okay, God, I want to use this to help people. I want to use this to help people. And, you know, at that time, it was popping. Social media was really popping with life coaches. Make $5,000 in 10 days, make $50,000 in 30 days, and it was just like all of these different fads that you could do in the life coaching arena to make money. So I'm like, okay, cool. So every fad there was, I jumped on it. I jumped on it over here. I jumped on it over there. Fast forward, I had a coach that I was gonna get services. I was gonna get services from, but she told me that what I was offering, nobody would pay for. That the services that I wanted to offer to people, they could go down to social services and get for free. So why should they pay me for it? When I say that was a gut punch, that was a gut punch. But it was something inside of me that would not let me quit. It was something inside of me that just kept saying, no, you're onto something. You're onto something. You just gotta craft it. And so I remember praying because I'm really strong in my faith. My faith is very, very strong. I am led by God in everything that I do. And I remember praying. I was like, okay, God, did I miss a step? Did I? Because sometimes we can be on this journey called life, and we know what we heard. We know what we heard God say, and we know we're pretty clear on what we heard Him say, and we're like, okay, I know I heard you, but did I miss a step? Did I mishear you? What am I missing? Because this isn't working out the way I think it's supposed to work out. Well, number one, it's never going to work out the way we think it's supposed to work out. It's always going to work out the way he thinks it's supposed to work out. That's number one. Number two, God gave me this revelation, and I use this revelation all the time. When you're creating something, it's different from walking into something that's already created. He gave me the analogy of a door. When you walk through a door, You're walking through that door. That door is already created. The frame is already there. The door, the actual door is already there. The doorknob is already on the door. It's already there. So all you gotta do is turn the knob, open the door, walk through. But when you're creating something, when you're creating something from the ground up, that means you have to create the frame. That means you have to create the base. That means you have to create the door itself. That means you have to make sure that the actual door aligns with the frame. You have to make sure the doorknob is in the right place. So when you're creating something, it's going to be harder than just walking through the door. And what he showed me was I was creating a door for somebody else to walk through. And I'm like, okay. They didn't make it no easier, but I said, okay. Okay. Um, and then he also showed me that you're not gonna get it like everybody else got it. You're not gonna get it like everybody else got it. You're gonna get it, but it's not gonna be the same as everybody else. The same route that everybody else took, you're not gonna be able to take that route because you're creating a door. Because you're creating something for somebody else to walk through. You're not following a path. You're creating a path. And so when you're creating a path, it's going to look entirely different. The struggles are going to be so much different. The struggles are going to be so much harder when you're creating a path versus following a path. So that is why I got all the no's. That is why, and I want to say this to the people out there that might be listening, that might be dealing with some of this now. That is why you may encounter the no's. That is why you might feel like you're on an island by yourself. Because Lord knows I have felt that on many a day. That is why you might feel like, Lord, am I doing this right? Am I on the right path? Did I hear you correctly? You're creating something versus following something. And the path is going to be entirely different. So fast forward a little bit more. Um, I realized that I had this connection with children that a lot of people don't have. I'm able to speak to children on a level that a lot of adults cannot. And I've always had that connection with children. Um, in my work as a teacher, I never, let me see, every class I've had at least 2 to 3 children in that class with a disability, with some sort of a disability. That's the way God lined that up. um, and I always put in time with them. I always talk to them. I always showed them that you can do this. And I came up with ways to work with them, came up with ways to teach them and help them learn. And I found that that was what was gravitated to me. So I said, okay, God, so this is the lane you're probably wanting me in. But then I had their parents. I had parents of the disabled children. They would come in, they would be so tired. They would
Mm.
be exhausted. They would
Yeah.
be overwhelmed. They would be stressed. There would be a lot of different things going on. So I would talk to them and I would minister to them and I would say, when was the last time you had a self-care day? A
Mm.
day where you just took for yourself and and sometimes it don't even gotta be a whole day. Sometimes it could be a 5 second or 5 minute pause
Yeah.
when you're sitting in your car and you're just there. Not in the garage though, but you're sitting in your driveway or you're you're in your bathroom and you lock the door
Mhm.
and you let somebody else deal with it for 5 minutes so you can rejuvenate yourself. And I tell parents, I'm like, if you're not good to yourself, then you are not going to be anything to anybody else,
Yeah.
especially your children. So
Yeah.
that's how that kind of all came about.
Yeah. I love your Tenacity. I love your perseverance. And you are now these people I have to call, I often say, we learn to turn our stumbling blocks into stepping stones, right?
Right,
We lived it and we knew that we wish we become the people that we wish we had when we're going at it,
right,
when we're in our
right,
darkest days, right?
right,
So
right,
thank you, for being able to turn the pain that you've been through, and and even when people didn't believe in you, when you had the vision, you stayed true to it. You remember, who called you to do this, why you were doing this, and you found pathways or ways to make it work. And you're right, like people don't think about the caregivers, right? Think about the parents who, being a parent is hard. Being a parent of a child with a disability, it's even harder because there's more needs naturally. And so, they need all of us, myself included. I'm one of those who need people to pour into ourselves, right? And especially when, like for you and I, who have our own challenges as well, it's another layer, right?
right,
Another
right,
layer of stress there. So
right.
what you do is so beautiful and it's needed. And I'm glad that you did not give up when someone told you, oh, nobody's going to pay you for this. People need this, and social services do not offer this to families the way you do. So let's be real. I've
And
been
you
in
know,
social services
and that's what
for
I
two
had to
decades.
learn.
We don't do it like this, right? So
Right,
go ahead.
right,
Right.
and that's what I had to learn. I had
Yeah.
to learn that because now I'm seeing stuff like this pop up all over the place. And I'm like, okay, so where do I fit in? But then I learned that, and I said this to somebody before. I was like, yeah, you can get a coach that went to school and read the books and got the book knowledge and all that. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, and pay a nice pretty penny for that coach.
Hmm.
Or you can get the coach that has some experience, that has the real life experience, that can walk you through those trenches because she's already been through them. She knows how to navigate them. She knows how to maneuver through them. Because
Hmm.
I have my daughter is 19, and my daughter has her own set of challenges. So
Yeah.
I've had to navigate through those trenches myself. So I'm not just telling you what I read. I'm not just telling you what I heard. I'm not just showing you what I've seen on Facebook or on social media. I'm
Yeah.
showing you the things that I had to do to get to where I am. And if you're trying to get there, I can show you how to do it, what I had to do.
Yeah.
Even as a kid, even as being a kid with a disability, I understand
Been
what it's
there.
like
Yeah.
to be bullied. I understand what it's like to all you want is friends. I understand what it's like to be that young girl at 15,
Mhm.
16 years old, and everybody else is being asked to the dance and you're not being asked. I know what that feels like. I know what that longing for belonging feels like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And based on that, on that longing and knowing what those feelings feel like, that is what makes me a good coach. That is what makes me the coach that I am. Because I know what that feels like. I know what that longing and that desire feels like. I know what that longing and desire feels like to be a good parent and to know that you're doing right by your child, to know that whatever obstacles your child got going on, you're doing right by your child. And to know that you're providing the best care that you can provide. So I know what all those things feel like. I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can go get a coach that read the books and gone through the classes, or you can get a coach that has experience and has read the books and gone through the classes.
Right, right. No, well said, because it in the it's good. Yes, it's people who studied, and study disability, right? Who study, support and social services. Good. Like I'm one of them, right? Been there, went to school and got the degrees, but it's not until you live it that knowledge becomes real transformation. And then it's not just head knowledge, it's
Right.
heart knowledge
Heart,
because now you're
heart knowledge.
living it.
Heart knowledge.
Yeah, and I think that's where the transformation comes from, because when you're meeting with that young 16-year-old who's feel like, wow, everybody had so much to go to the dance, the head knowledge will be like, well, let's see, who are you connected to? You're still strategizing,
Right.
and which is good, which is not bad in itself, but you're not speaking to the pain that she's feeling in that moment,
Right, right,
right?
and that's the thing. A lot
And
of
then she does
times we
not feel
miss
seen
that.
or right. then she didn't feel seen or heard or validated at all. And
Right.
then when you're not there, she's gonna put forward, 4 years later, she's gonna be in the same situation and still with the same wound that was not healed, and now it becomes, a trauma that she's dealing for years.
Right.
So
Right.
yes, so I so admire, again, that lived experience is valuable. I'm all about, I support, believe in, and I'm a product myself of the pure model, right? That yes, doctors have their place and psychiatrists have their place, and even counselors, like I have those degree in counseling, they have their place. But when you sprinkle in or attach the peer support model to someone's journey, it's life giving. Literally, it transforms people's life, and people now have, it's like you can Google the stat, how many people have depression, right? How many people with disabilities suffer with depression. You can Google that and have that, and you can, but it's nice to you read a story of someone who been there and came out of it, right? Or someone like you, like, you're like me, who are living through the challenges of disability, challenges of parenting children with disabilities, and then you're like, wow, not only I can Google this stuff and find out how many people, find the stats per se, right?
Right.
But until I see a living human being like myself, who has done that, been there, and have the shirt to show, for the to show
Right.
through
Right.
that,
Right.
right? And I'm like, now I can do that too.
Right.
That gives
Right.
hope. That
Right.
gives hope. So I thank you again for all of that. And so it's a lot. You wear a lot of hats, being a wife, being a mom, being a coach, being a teacher, right, and an author on top of that. How do you balance it all?
Right.
You're like, girl.
Baby, let me tell you. Um, you know what? Well, see, my daughter is 19 now.
Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't require as much from me as she did when she was a kid.
Yeah.
And now she lives with her dad,
Okay.
in another part of the state. So she's with her dad, she's working, she's kind of living her life. She's kind of doing her thing. So she doesn't require as much from me as she did when she was young, which
Right.
is nice. um, the working and the coaching. See, if I'm going to be 100% transparent, the teaching was a ends to a means for me.
Mm,
Okay. Now don't get me wrong when I say this. I love teaching. I love my babies. I love teaching. I love to see them grow. I love to see them blossom. I love to see them learn.
mhm.
But teaching for me started out as a way to get my business off the ground. So what I was doing was
Strategy.
supplementing the teaching and putting that money into getting the business off the ground the way that I
Yeah.
wanted and needed it to be. So my goal has been to be able to stop teaching and do my business 24/7. That's the goal. That's the
Yeah.
end to the means, if you will.
Yeah.
I don't know how close I am to it yet, but
You're
that
working on it.
oh, I'm working on it. Trust me, I'm working.
Yes. Yes.
But that is the end to the means. That is the end to the means.
Yeah. No.
But balance. I balance it by um I have a regimen that I try to follow. I don't follow it every day, but I do try.
Mm-hmm.
I try to make sure that I get enough sleep. So I try to have myself in the bed. And when I say in the bed, I mean in the bed, phone off,
Mm-hmm.
TV off, everything by 9 o'clock. Because then that way I'm assuring that I'm getting a certain amount of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm up. I make sure that I eat something before I leave the house.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like little things that I do to try to keep myself down. And if I don't do these things, I'm all over the place.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Routines are so important, right?
Yeah,
And no, today everybody lives a busy life. And so especially when you're on, a call, you're pursuing purpose, you're pursuing
yeah,
calling, divine, or, kingdom, kingdom goals. And you need those regimen, because
yeah,
otherwise it feels like there's never enough time in the day, but
right,
all of us have 24 hours. Until you
Yes,
learn to make the 24 hours work for you, you're always going to feel like you're chasing after the clock. So
yes,
I'm glad to hear that you have those regimens that help you. Getting enough sleep is important because,
yes,
there's lots and lots and lots of
yes,
research out there where if we don't sleep well, then we're grouchy, then, we can't
right.
focus, we can't, we're not as productive,
Cause a
and
lot of different
it's
problems.
impacted. Exactly. It just becomes more problematic for us. So yeah, so that self-care, those things we do for ourselves are intent, it's impactful, but you have to be very intentional. So I
Right.
love that, that you
Right,
share
right.
that.
And I work very hard to be intentional about it.
Yeah.
And then I also have started, well, haven't started, I want to start,
Hmm.
um, adding some sort of exercise into my routine.
Yeah.
I mean, I was doing that at one point, and then one point I just kind of fell off, but I want to add it back because
Hmm.
I noticed when I was doing that, when I was having that routine of going to
Hmm.
bed at 9, getting up, working out, going to work. It's just kind of, I was balanced. I was a lot more
Yeah.
balanced. I
Yeah.
was looking at the food I was putting in my body. I was very careful about that. I was careful about the things that I was allowing into my airway. I was just very
Mhm.
just careful and intentional
Yeah.
about those things. And I found when I became intentional about those things, I was balanced.
Yeah.
Even though I had 10,000 things going on, I I was balanced because I was intentional about what I was putting in my space. I was
Mhm.
intentional about what I was putting in my body. I was intentional about how I was spending my time. I
Yeah.
was intentional about what I was feeding my brain. So when I became intentional about those things, that's when I was balanced.
Mm.
Regardless of what I had going on around me, I was balanced
Yeah. Yeah.
when I paid attention to those things.
Yeah, that's wisdom right there. Because sometimes people be so focused on, oh, I'm trying to start this business. I'm trying to, get this new job or work on this relationship. Whatever the goal is, we forget that we are holistic beings, right? So it's not just work apply. If you're looking for a job, it's not just applying for the jobs and going online, filling applications. All this other stuff you mentioned, right? What am I hearing? What am I allowing in my space? How much rest am I giving to my body?
Right,
What am I, all of those things, the way we take care of every part of our being help us be who we want to be. So we can't just become stuff, right? We need to, or have stuff if we're not becoming who we need to be to even
right,
enjoy those things when it comes to us, right? So I
right.
really glad to hear that. And I wanted to just, touch a little bit on what you said earlier, how you are seeing your job as a means to an end and using it to fuel your business to, and sometimes people don't always see that, understand that, appreciate that. It's okay, there's no shame in having a full-time job
Yes,
and running a business.
yes.
As long as you know what your end goal is, what you're working on. And some people do that forever, and that's okay. You
Right,
need to know what
right,
works for you, right?
right,
And but have a strategy. So sometimes I love that you have a strategy and you are doing everything to work on that goal and for so many angles, right? Taking care of yourself and and everything else in between. So yes, have a goal, but then utilize all the resources available to you to reach that goal. And sometimes it's literally getting a job that, I'm glad you love your job. There are people who sometimes in a job that is maybe not their favorite thing, but they know why they're doing it, right?
right,
And now
right, right.
some people,
Yeah,
yeah.
sometimes they, yeah. But I'm sorry, I can't do something that I don't like.
Well, I'm with you on that, my friend. I'm
I
with
just
you.
can't,
Yeah,
can't do something
it
I
would
don't
be hard.
like.
Yes,
I
for
have to
own
be, if
well-being.
I'm gonna get out the bed that early in the morning,
Mm.
I'm gonna need to enjoy it,
Yes.
okay?
Yes, that yeah, I can talk about that all day long. Yeah, for our own well-being, we need, it's healthy and it's effective when we have things that we actually enjoy a
Right,
little bit. Maybe we don't want to do
right,
it for a lifetime, but we have to find some enjoyment, some fulfillment in it.
right.
Otherwise, it's hard to keep up with. It's hard to
Right, right. And then
sustain.
after a while, you're like, nah, I don't want to do
Yeah,
this
it's
anymore.
hard to get out of bed, and it's, you
Yes,
might be the
it is
grumpy coworker
very
because you
hard.
just don't like
Very,
the job,
very,
right?
very.
Yeah. So yeah, you do so much for others. And you support people, everything you're doing, you are supporting, even for your writing, you're writing books that help people, elevate themselves and and be better people and enjoy life better. So how can we support you? What are the ways that people can support your work?
Okay, well, You can go to my website, www.coachlatrea.net.
Mm.
I have a merch store. I actually have some new merch. I thought I had one in here. I have some shirts coming out, some
Right,
new shirts coming out,
right.
in my store. Of course, you can get the book.
Yay!
Yay.
Yes.
The book is on the website. I have some workshops, some trainings on there as well that you can purchase. You can also, if you are looking for a speaker, and you are needing a speaker for an event or anything that you may have coming up, whether it be a tele-summit, whether it be a virtual thing, or whether it be an in-person thing or what have you, there's a form on there on the site that you can fill out to request a speaker.
Beautiful.
Hold on one second, my husband's coming in. But yeah, so just go to the website. Like I said, I have a merch store there. I have workshops there. I have my books there. Um, I have a forum, like I said, if you're looking for a speaker or whatnot.
Hmm.
So yeah, so yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty much it.
So yeah, so we'll definitely put the link to your website, in the notes here. And how about how people can find you on social media? Are those links also on your website already?
I believe there are, but if not, I'll go ahead and let you know.
Okay.
On Facebook, my main Facebook page is Latrea, L-A-T as in Tom, R-E-A, Anita, A-N-I-T-A, Russ, R-U-S-S. That is my Facebook handle. Let's see. Instagram is Coach Latrea 79. Uh, YouTube is, I want to say, Speaker Latrea.
Okay.
TikTok is Speaker Latrea. I have a Speaker Latrea page and I have a Coach Latrea page on TikTok. So I have two
Beautiful.
on TikTok. Um, I think those are the only ones. I do have a LinkedIn, but that's a work in progress. So I don't
It's
really get that one
okay.
out yet. That's a
Oh,
work in progress. We're still kind of getting the working that one out a little bit.
it's all good. Yeah, and you and I will talk later. We'll make sure we put all those links there for people to connect with you. Thank
Okay.
you so much again for making time to talk with me today, and thank you for just sharing your heart, your brilliance to in this world. For everyone watching and listening, here is another reminder that you can do, guess what you put your mind to. I know that it sounds cliche, but it's worth repeating here. That when you have that calling in your heart and you know that you're called and born to do something, don't let somebody else tell you no. Don't let your circumstances tell you. Don't let your past tell you no. Right? Find the people. Believe in yourself. Yes, believe in for those of us who are Christian, to the God who put that belief in that dream in you, but also then find people who can support you, people who can believe in you, and find the tools and resources around you, to move forward. And there's a lot of people I interview here. There's so many tools on the who are, I often say, you can add tools to your toolbox if you want, of the goals that you're working on, because of all the people that I've invited here on this podcast. And so Latria is one of them. If you are a person with disability, you are a parent, a loved one of, a family member of a loved one with disability, please reach out to Latria. If you work with people with disability, whether it's for a nonprofit or for a state agency, reach out to Latria for speaking engagement. So I will put all her connections there, or her links there, for you to reach out to her. But again, thank you, thank you, thank you all for watching, for listening, for supporting this show. But thank you, Latria, again, for all that you do. I appreciate you, my friend.
You are so welcome, and thank you again for having me.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in to the Chat with Chou podcast. We hope today's episode inspired and informed you on your journey towards growth. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Follow Chou Allegra on social media to stay updated on upcoming episodes and more resources. Until next time, take care and keep striving for well-being and belonging in all areas of your life.